And we're on. Welcome to the first episode, first attempt at critiquing a YouTuber's video without any real knowledge.
Possibly videos, if we feel like it.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to Every Frame of Pause. My name is Mauler, and okay. My name's Naretsu. I'm just a fucking shit poster on Lewd Gamer. So there you go. That's your introduction.
I'm Alinus. I hang around people who know more than me, so I know a little more than most people know.
Yeah, he's a smart one of the group.
Smart quotation marks.
Smart quotation marks, yeah.
Well, I'm Lolly Dominatrix. Despite my name, my tastes in anime are boomer as fuck.
Sounds good. Alright, so today we're going to be watching Gigguk's video about slime. I'm watching / watch slime. I think it's alright.
Yeah, maybe we should give our opinions of slime right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yeah, like I think slime's alright. I don't think it's groundbreaking. It's not anything to be like super celebrated, but it's enjoyable enough. I'm enjoying it.
I haven't watched it, so I straight up have no opinion on it.
I don't really like slime. This is a nice, varied opinion in this little box.
We got don't know, like, and dislike. It's pretty. It's going to be interesting.
What's the phrase? I'm the control group.
Yeah.
The control group. Yes, a super scientific fucking analysis of Gigguk's video.
Yeah. Well, we should start the video.
All right. I'll press the button. So. Yeah. 3, 2, 1.
This video is sponsored by Bookwalker. To say that the isekai genre is a bit saturated nowadays is a bit like saying there's quite a lot of stars in the sky, or the amount of little sisters in anime these days is a bit cancerous. Ever since it became acceptable to sell an isekai show over a simple gimmick, it's like authors have been trying to one-up each other with weirder ideas that set itself up making the audience go, nah, that's no way that's a fucking thing.
Hang on, wait a minute. What was that title?
I'm reborn as a vending machine or something.
I'm reborn as a vending machine. Is that real?
Yes, yeah. It is.
What the fuck are the Japanese on?
Yeah,
crack. What is this crack? What are we doing?
Yeah, but even then, the fact there isn't a lot of isekai. That's a dubious claim. And to what metric are you comparing it to? Are you comparing it to slice of lives?
I think he's conflating the fact that we're seeing a lot of them get adapted with the fact that there is a lot of them. Because let's be real, I believe this would be a similar cases to Moe, when Moe was in its sort of heyday back in the early 2004, 2000, around about that area, I guess, when Moe was considered to be a problem because there was too much Moe, but it's probably just because that's what people are buying, so that's what anime companies are adapting, etc., etc.
Yeah, and you could say that Moe is just now a part of anime in some way or form.
Yeah. Whereas if you ask, and of course this is from the Western perspective, right? Like if you asked a Westerner, like maybe 10 years ago, 2009, I'd say they'd probably say Moe was a large part of what anime was, but now it's become a lot more diverse, I believe, in terms of both access as well as genres. And such.
Yeah, just to finish up the point, we in the West, in Japanese or any other person could say that there's a lot of violence in movies, but you don't know the dramas, you don't know the novels, the comics, the games, etc. So in anime, it may have a slight curve upwards, a trend upwards, but it probably, to a Japanese perspective, isn't really a lot more.
Well, the thing is about the Japanese in particular is that they tend to franchise like everything.
Well, there's not also Americans, of course, with their movies and their video game movies, etc. Always be careful of making the Japanese a separate group, because most of the time they're just like us.
All right, let's continue.
In another world with my smartphone. In another world with my smartphone again. Pregnancy in another world. A cicada being reincarnated as a dragon, reborn as a vending machine. Becoming a super-powered prostitute in another world. These are all real, by the way.
Yeah, okay, that one I knew about. I knew about the sex worker one. I actually kind of want to read that one because it sounds great. But yeah, this is mostly at the moment just classic Gigguk humor. Like, this is what I expected from Gigguk at this point. But yeah, that's not really a point. I just want to So, yeah, so it's continuing.
All of them are light novels you can read right now. That's how deep we've gotten. I'm just waiting for the day we get a female protagonist who gets reborn as a garbage can so we can have the wet dream we've been waiting for. Literal trash waifus! When an isekai title gets popular nowadays, it's normally because it's a show that is able to do something unique with the genre, something that goes against the trends we've seen so many times before and have a different approach. So lo and behold, my surprise that the most beloved isekai of this entire year would go to one that is the complete opposite of this idea. An isekai that just completely embraces what the genre is about, taking some of the best aspects we've seen done before and drip feeding it to us in a little wholesome package. Enter That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, a show about that time someone got reincarnated as a slime. Remember when I said Bunny Girl Senpai had a stupid title for having nothing to do with the show? Well, this is the opposite problem. Slime Tensei, aka Slime Art Online, aka In Another World Without My Smartphone, is a show that does everything you'd normally look for in a typical isekai, even if the initial premise can come off as a bit gimmicky. You had a guy who died via stab wound this time, because Truck Kun's schedule was booked out with undead zombie idols, before getting reborn as a slime in a fantasy world! Because of course it's a fantasy world! The initial thing that draws you into the show is that gimmicky hook and the light-hearted comedy. You had an all-powerful dragon who's actually a tsundere, a guy whose dying wish is for a bro to destroy all the porn in his computer, as any of us should be worried about before we die. And the amusing idea of, lol, XD, people are getting owned by the least threatening-looking slime in existence, ha 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 ha. But my main concern was what it would do differently once the novelty of just having the protagonist be a blue blob wore off. And it turns out the answer was nothing. The brilliance of this series comes not from what it does to make it unique and stand out from other shows of the genre, but from what it fully embraces from isekai and runs with.
Have we got a comment? Because I don't really have much to say.
You know, in the beginning of introducing this slime, it had a lot of positive words that it wasn't really yet, not really yet qualified. But you know, that's opinions and stuff.
Well, this is like I said, this is just what I expected from a Gigguk video. He's basically just, saying opinions along with some comedy slashed in between, I guess. I'm not. That's why I don't really have much to say, because I don't really feel like he's made an actual point yet.
Well,
He's just kind of, making opinionated statements, then comedy or joke, then opinionated statements. He's not actually making like the point yet, which is why I wanted to stop now and do some comments before we watch the whole video and not say anything, because I have a feeling that might happen.
So far, it's not different from Spider. Kumo desu ka? Did I say it right? Nanika. Kumo ga nanika. Did you know of that one?
Yeah, the one where something blows up in the classroom and the fucking girl sits in back, who's kind of a piece of shit, gets revived as a. It's hard not to use game terms with this type of shit, but she gets revived as a spider.
Yeah.
For whatever wacky reason.
Yeah. So far, there's no difference between how Gigguk explains this video and Spider.
Hey, kind of the problem is, and he puts it out as a good point, is that beyond the first episode, it doesn't really do anything with the premise. That's actually my problem with isekai anime as a whole. The whole fact that it takes place in another world just kind of gets dropped like immediately, and it begs the question of, if you're going to introduce an element to a story, you should probably use that element and not just brush it off to the side.
It's almost why transport someone from another world if you're not going to do anything.
Well,
Yeah.
particularly with.
I disagree slightly because it is another world. It's a new chance, new lands, new opportunities. I do agree that Slime has a little in the way of exploration. The world is already pretty much known. There's not much to do for Slime, but that problem is solved by giving him a quest by the only fellow Japanese person. The only Japanese person that he meets early on.
Right. Alright, let's continue then.
Our slime friend is completely overpowered with a myriad of abilities that makes him one of the most powerful beings in this world, with women falling at his feet, even though he doesn't have feet, acting like,
This is a pit of slime. You guys will get in it.
with nothing really new regarding the structural world that we haven't seen before, and yes, it works because it understands the core appeal of isekai as an escapist power fantasy, but manages to avoid it degenerating into something cheap and trashy, and instead goes down the route of making everything so goddamn wholesome. The main drive behind the narrative comes from our slime boy protagonist Rimuru, just trying to make the world he's arrived in a better place. Even though he's an all-powerful monster, he just tries to befriend and make peace with everyone and everything. Conflicts and fights are still present, but they are always used as a last resort when every other option has been.
Alright, I have a slight issue with this.
Alright.
Because there is an overarching problem with especially Isekai Naruke, where, just to explain, Isekai is of course another world. Naruke is a type of story from a specific site where people can write their own novels, and the site is Shosatsu ni Naro, and all those stories kind of are similar to each other, so those are Naruke, Naro type stories. And with this is also a Naruke story. And one of the issues Naruke stories have is that it is it's very biased towards the protagonist. And I fear that Gigguk here is just eating up the story that is given to him without really realizing that the world is entirely made for the benefit of Rimuru, the protagonist. He's all powerful, he's smarter, he's the only one with knowledge how to make it better. All the other people resort to violence and are defeated because they are lesser than.
Yeah, it would have been more interesting, I guess, if he would have to use the characteristics of being a slime, and I know exactly where it comes from. It comes from fucking Dragon Quest. The characteristics of being a slime to actually improve things rather than just, haha, I'm powerful, you know.
I have a supercomputer in my brain, which is essentially what he has, which is what the great sage ability is.
Well, and he of course has his impeccable morality and his incredible insight that apparently no other person in the entire world has ever thought to think of for solutions.
Not technically, not even other people who have come from another world, just specifically this one person, because there are, spoilers I guess, other people that come from other worlds that come into this world. So the fact that he's the first one to start thinking, hey, yeah, I'm gonna use this amazing supercomputer to solve things. It's a great idea.
And just to maybe, I don't know specifically, but all the Japanese persons introduced so far are good. I haven't really encountered anyone who has come to this world who was bad.
I also don't think there's been anyone that's come into this world that's not Japanese. At least I don't know if, because we're at a point now where kids are involved, and I don't know if any of the kids are of different ethnicities, but they all seem, if I remember correctly, they all seemed to have Japanese names. But I'd have to go back and check.
Yeah, but
I wonder how many people from Atlanta end up in this fantasy world when they get shot.
All right, let's keep going then.
exhausted. We talk a lot about self-insert characters in isekai, a protagonist that's meant to represent an idealized version of us that we can project ourselves on. And while most shows take this opportunity to portray some antisocial nerd who actually has some hidden talent that makes him so cool and brooding that people just didn't understand in this original world.
Sword Art Online isn't a isekai.
Okay.
Just to make the...
Yeah, because technically they're not transported, correct?
Well, there's... Isekai has some baggage attached to it. It's not, you can make anything with the definition alone transported to another world. I jokingly say that time travel stories are isekai. But really...
Black Knight is isekai, change my mind.
Yeah.
You better put that fucking meme up on screen when I say that in editing. Black Knight is isekai, change my mind.
But so the problem with Sword Art Online is that there is travel between those worlds. There is a physical body still present in the real world. It isn't a new start, which isekais are.
Right. So it has to have the component of it being a
There
fresh
are
start.
more, but starting in a new world, the question of should we go back, those are really important, I think.
Yeah, and funnily enough, there are very few that I find actually tend to tackle that issue. I know Log Horizon's technically one where they do have a conflict of should we go back. There are people that don't want to go back. There are people that do want to go back. How are we going to solve that problem? Sadly, we're never going to get another season of that. Sadly, but I have to read. I want to read because I do believe the light novel is still continuing, even though the anime is probably never going to continue.
But just to make a counterpoint to that, not many anime tackle that issue. Anime, also anime. No Game No Life addresses this issue in the very first episode. Like, why would we ever want to leave now that we are in this world? And not mentioning the problem is kind of implying that they don't want to leave.
We might have Star coming in. Hang on. So we might just have someone else joining. Join if you want. I'm not bothered if anyone else wants to jump in, as long as they don't fucking randomly. I was just gonna say, as long as you don't randomly fucking start playing and pausing the goddamn video, you're fine. We're not that bothered. Bloody blurry. I'm reading the chat.
I'm not watching the chat, so...
Well, this is the joys of having multi-monitors set up. I can look at the Discord chat and I can look...
I already have 2 monitors, now I have to pick up a third.
Just gotta get more.
You gotta get more. You gotta put monitors within monitors, so you can have monitors in your monitors. Right?
I got now 3 monitors set up.
Oh, mate. You gotta get that fucking 64 games of World of Warcraft going. Alright, we're getting really distracted, but yeah. So yeah, we'll continue from here basically.
Sword Art Online isn't isekai.
Alright, we'll leave it at that, yeah.
Of course. Rimuru just represents that part of me of whenever I play an RPG, my first playthrough is always playing the nice guy doing the good route. I always complete every side quest requested of me by random characters. I choose all the nice dialogue options and choices that lead to all the good endings because I just want to see everyone around me be happy and cheerful, okay? And that's what makes him the backbone of this series, even though he doesn't actually have a backbone. God damn it, why do all these turn of phrases not work on fucking slimes? He's just such a wholesome and lovable little creature with a utopian and positive outlook on life that guides you through the world he's exploring. No matter what adversity comes his way, he always goes about it with kindness and a level of naive logic that you're just always rooting for the little fucker and always friends to succeed. In stark contrast to fantasy settings like Goblin Slayer, where monsters are creatures to be slain or feared, the early focus is on different monsters he meets who he ends up saving that then ally themselves with him. You even have him helping a nice group of goblins at the beginning just to confuse my perceptions of goblins even further. Oh, that's another name for the show. Goblin Saver. I think he's a good metaphor for the show itself. cute, bubbly, and idealistic, but can absolutely kick ass when needs be. He is the binding that makes this isekai work. Even if all the girls want him, it doesn't feel like trashy harem
glue,
because
so
of
to
his
speak.
genderless form. So despite the fact he can be swimming in a sea of bouncy tits, it somehow just comes off as adorable. However, there is one other thing that really drew me to the series, which I thought the early episodes kind of hinted at, and because I wanted to see if I was indeed correct in my assumption, I did what any impatient degenerate would do. I read ahead in the manga and light novel, which were all available in Bookwalker. Now, for anime-only people, I'm not going to spoil any plot points, but I did want to take this opportunity to talk about what the show is about overall, and why this is such a big strength, which, if you've been following the structure of what's happened so far, you can kind of already guess at, because it's to do with the village that has now formed. To me, the village is the other centerpiece of this show, and will only grow in importance as the series progresses. Right now, we followed the village from its inception of just a group of weak goblins to the addition of wolves, ogres, and other monsters, while constantly improving the quality of life with more advanced infrastructure. And so far has been done at a very natural pace that logically makes sense. Our buildings kind of suck? Well, better search for someone who has engineering knowledge who can help build more advanced housing. Well, better set some ground rules for everyone to follow, which as the population increases will only get more intricate and will form the basis of law. There is constant growth and progression, whether that be with the village itself or the monsters who get an evolution after getting names by Rimuru, which thank god he's more mature than my 13-year-old ass who named his Metapod Penis, which was just stupid and immature, and I don't know why I found it so funny at the time. I mean, it's just a Metapod named Penis using Harden.
Haha.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, so...
Again, it's very similar. It's very similar to the first part of the video, where it's just okay. He makes either a basic explanation of the show or an opinionated statement about the show, and then just comedy.
Yeah, so I do have some points because I'm in the presence of people who are no, not here, ha ha ha, not here. In the presence of people who are smarter than me. There are more issues with Slime, which is that there is no counterweight to him. Everything that he does, makes, and do is better than anything ever done before. And it's all he always draws upon his own personal knowledge and own personal personality, which kind of suggests that because he's Japanese, he is able to do this.
And this never leads to any kickback or anything. Like,
have either of you read the light novel?
I haven't. I'm the control group. I have never read.
I'm an anime boy, so I haven't read anything up to where the anime is.
So there is a counterweight to him. It just shows up very far into the story, which is annoying, but it's like, okay, there at least is one.
And,
Well,
as,
it's good to know.
And he currently exists in the anime.
I do have a question. Is he a viable alternative to the way Rimuru acts?
What do you mean by that?
Well, the problem here is that Rimuru is basically a perfect. Does everything perfectly the first time. Any issue that he encounters is immediately resolved with no harmful side effects, etc., etc. Is there somebody who shows Rimuru's flaws, points out his inabilities, presents a narrative, a story, which would be better potentially?
No.
Right, so-
I'm talking purely on the basis of just raw power, rather than actually like being a good foil or anything like that.
So, like, okay, here's the thing that kind of gets me too, right? So, my understanding from this video and from what you're telling me, the only reason he's able to actually communicate to these monsters and try to make their lives better or whatever is that he's a slime, which implies that he could have just been any other monster. There's nothing about being a slime in particular that...
It's less that he's a slime and more that he has the supercomputer. Because he has this part of his reincarnation was he got this quirk, I guess, which was something called like the Grand Sage.
Because he was a
ability, which
virgin,
is-
so he became sage.
Oh,
So he
Basically,
doesn't have to
no.
make any of the decisions for himself.
Basically, yeah, it essentially just works like a fucking computer where you feed it information and it provides you an output, right? So if he consumes something, then he can reconstruct it because he's consumed the input and is able to reconstruct an output if he has the materials, right? And if it takes in information such as like what's the weak point on this monster, it will generate a scenario in which you can hit that weak, like a strategy. He even essentially uses this as like an autopilot later on in the show, where he just switches off completely and uses the sage to just automatically fucking win, basically. So it's less to do with the slime, and like he could have been any other type of creature. It's just the fact that it's a combination of him being a slime which can absorb things into Great Sage, as well as the fact that he is Great Sage. If I'm correct, I believe I'm correct in that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Sounds really dumb.
yeah, but to swing back to what this part was about, this nation building. So he has no foil. There is no other country that is better in any way. And I do know that in a later part, in a side novel, side thing, maybe even in the side stories bundled with the Blu-ray box or something, there is a travel guide, somebody who writes travel guides.
Oh, and the side manga, yeah.
Yeah, all right. So it's in the side manga. So the travel guide comes in, takes a look at the city, stays for a day, and walks back and says, "This is an amazing city, never done before. It's great. Everybody should go here."
Hmm.
There are no downsides, and apparently you can form this opinion of this nation city in a single day.
Yeah. Right. Oh well, let's
Well,
keep going.
it's an ongoing side manga. It's not like it's just a one-off day thing.
All right, that was my that's what I thought it was, or some
Yeah.
little side story. But my
Right.
my point is more that there is no downside to whatever he does. That is,
No.
you know.
Right. Let's see if Gigguk says anything of substance within the next 4 minutes. I'm doubtful. I mean, don't get me wrong, because I'm usually the one that talks about the video's quality rather than points and shit. It's not a bad video. It has entertainment value. It's he it's not like it's true that he's not really making any really good points, but it is still a somewhat entertaining video from a joking standpoint.
Not at all his style.
Yeah,
No.
it's like. But anyway, let's continue.
God damn it, why do I still find this funny? This also ties into the world building. What I like about the world building is that the world of Slime is pretty much as grand as any isekai fantasy story, but it's done at a gradual pace, expanding bits by bit as the size and influence of the village itself
Oh,
grows.
no.
Never hitting you with too much information at once, but we don't know this right at the beginning of the show when it's just a small-scale story of a slime becoming the leader of a village hidden in the leaves. Wait a minute. Is this the fucking prequel to Naruto? Eventually, the village grows to a point where more complex and intricate issues need to be considered, and this is what I found really interesting. We get the formation of culture, the development of science, and then you have politics and public relations to consider. Trade agreements, resource management. The entire show is essentially like watching someone play a game of Civilization from the beginning, trying to get a culture or diplomacy victory. And judging from the length of the series, it'll probably last as long as a game of Civilization 2. Of course, his approach to this is a simplified utopian fashion, but that's what makes it so wholesome and satisfying to watch. It feels good watching a civilization grow where everyone is working.
I take it you have disagreement.
This is
You know,
If we know everything's going to work out from the get-go, and it establishes that as a fact, why do we care about them? What weight does the struggle have?
I think the key word you're looking for here is lack of conflict.
They fucking raised the city. But this is the problem with him having only read what is currently licensed. None of the manga and none of the light novel that has been licensed has got that far. That and the like gradual, it's about as gradual as the average Stellaris playthrough. It's not. It starts off that way, sure, but it is absolutely exponential.
I mean, I know something that I found somewhat interesting was in the last episode that I watched, because he's now going to the city to teach the kids, right? He's becoming a teacher. He mentioned that he had been in the place for 2 years. So in the 2 years since he arrived, he founded a fucking city, jump-started the technological advancement of the goblins by probably a few generations.
Say 100, I mean, you can say easily 100 or 200 years.
If they were left to their own devices, right? Let's say that. Like, if the goblins were left to their own devices, probably would have taken them a lot longer to achieve such feats.
It's
So
like establishing a rubber plantation in Africa.
Oh no!
I'm not saying that to be racist. I'm not saying that to be racist. Really. Okay, maybe I'm a little racist, but no,
Alright.
like,
all right.
but like, no, like when they had to put a lot of money into like establishing the basic infrastructure and stuff. Like, it's not a 2-year thing. It's like we have a 10-year or 20-year plan.
I'm not sure, but do they have electricity now in the city? They
No,
might.
they got magic. That's not really a
Oh
big
yeah,
thing.
magic. Yeah, magic, bitch.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
anyway,
but
yeah.
there's this problem issue of suddenly a civilization is born, and even when does the Dwarf King comes in? Does he look at the city and says, you know, it's only this place only existed for like 6 months, a year at most.
No, that's one of the interesting things that does happen is, I forget which nation, but one of the nations attacks them
Oh, cool.
and
Is there
has
any good
rumor.
reason for it?
Yeah,
Alright, good.
I read this like years ago,
Alright.
so I don't know all the like finer details. But has Rimuru become a demon lord yet in the anime?
No, he has not.
It's at that point that he does. So
Okay, I can make.
I don't want to
assumptions.
spoil it anymore.
Yeah.
But
That's, yeah.
basically, all the other countries go, well, if we attack them, we're gonna get fucked. So let's not.
Yeah.
After
So-
that,
You know what's screwing with my head though? So like, this is where they could have like worked in the fact that he's a slime and have it be relevant. Because you could say, oh, well, you know, slimes don't age like people, so he's watching this happen over the course of like 20 or 30 or 40
generations of
years, rather
monsters.
than just like 2 years.
And hell, you could even say that goblins have like extended lifespans, so you could even have technically the same like for a longer period of time than normal.
Yeah, or,
But
yeah.
Like I'm not sure how I feel about it. I think there's definitely a problem there, but yeah, that's.
Hmm.
Anyway, let's keep going. We're not long now.
Together to overcome their problems instead of fighting against one another. And I'm sure this could be a turnoff for some people, but I appreciated how easily certain things could get resolved instead of just faffing about with it, so that I could see progression towards the final goal, which I'm guessing is going to be world peace. In that sense, that Tama is incarnated as a anti-overlord, or maybe they're just exactly the same show, but this is just a parallel playthrough. In fact, it's reminiscent of a lot of other isekai and fantasy
Well-
settings. The evolution of society and politics reminded me a lot
Just-
of Log Horizon.
Just one thing, Overlord, he's right. Overlord is very similar, kind of, but Overlord tackles this issue very slowly.
And Overlord is a very different reason as to why he there is a reason why he has to be evil. Like, it's very clear reason as to why he has to be evil, and it makes logical sense within the
Even if he
context.
really tries his fellow or his companion, convincing his companions he's not evil, that they they don't have to be evil. All those attempts always fail.
It's not. Yeah, it's a bit of a. It's like comparing it. I feel like it's comparing it to pear, right? Like he's comparing two fruits together, but the two fruits are vastly different and have very like differences down to the core, I guess would be the way to put it. So he is correct in that they are both, in the same sort of genre, except one is So, similar with his comparisons to Log Horizon. It feels more like he's just saying, hey, Log Horizon had like the politic and the thing and the civilization, so it must be the same, right, guys? You know?
I mean, the politics in Slime is we should be friends. All right, want a trade deal? All right, no negotiation of trade deals, no tariffs, no restrictions.
Yeah,
no...
in the last fucking episode, he just saves the trader's life. The trader's like, hey, let's make a fucking trade deal. I'm like, oh yeah, all right. Sure, I guess. But anyway.
I mean, that's a big life-changing investment, but okay.
Yeah,
let's.
and in Log
let's keep
Horizon,
going.
there is
You've again got-
minutia in the trade deals and how it's being done and the political maneuver of getting said deals in the first place.
Yeah,
All of
let's
that
keep-
economic knowledge didn't help the author avoid jail time.
Yeah.
Alright, let's keep
You've
going.
got demon lords, you've got goblins this time that aren't fucking. You've got lizard men this time that aren't fucking. But the biggest thing I like about Slime is that it never loses focus. The arcs always take into account the next natural evolution and growth from the village, which is what made it so easy for me to blast through.
Oh,
I have
no.
an isekai that I like, and I like a lot, but I've always found that there's been something that's happened that's made me lose excitement. But from what I've seen and read ahead of, Slime never falls into this pit. This is what I mean when I said the strength of this show originates from what it fully embraces in the genre. It doesn't exactly do anything new, but it's the best of every world given to us in a nice, neat little package. And I don't know if it says something that we've had so many isekais with so many twists, gimmicks, and subversions of the genre cliches that they have in essence become cliche itself. So an isekai just going back to being isekai again feels weirdly fresh. That's right, we've done it, people! We've gone back to the fucking beginning. Isekai.
What is the
No.
original isekai? How do you define back?
A Yankee in King Arthur's. Fuck, what's
Oh
the
yeah,
end of
stars.
that?
Have you ever heard of a little movie by the name of The Black Knight?
The Black Knight?
Yes. Have you ever heard of it?
All I can think of is from Monty Python, but I don't think that's what you're talking about.
It's a movie where a black guy who lives in modern day, like modern, ghetto shit, right? He's sent back. He works at a theme park and he falls into like a moat and bangs his head or some shit with an amulet. And he goes back in time to the medieval ages and becomes a knight, and it's called the Black Knight. The current meme is that Black Knight is an isekai.
Pretty accurate. I like that.
I even made like an actual. I made a Steven Crowder meme for it, and I'll put it in the chat because it's great. But yeah, basically. So in Gigguk's head, I guess Black Knight is the original isekai.
Yeah, I mean he gives no qualifiers of what the original isekai is, or I don't even know he has a clear idea of what the original isekai is.
Also, I'm gonna post the fucking
This-
promotional art for the
this-
Black Knight.
This is the first
Earliest-
isekai. I'm
earliest
putting my
I can
hand down.
Nah, mate, you gotta watch the Black Knight, mate. You gotta,
Oh my
look
gosh.
Just look at this. Look at this fucking promotional artwork.
Oh no.
It's so good. It's the best. Maybe one day we'll do a watch together and we'll watch the Black Knight.
Point out all the
it's such-
isekai qualities.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we'll do an isekai analysis of the Black Knight.
the concept that slime does not have any gimmicks is fucking. What?
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
What?
like, isn't the fact that he's like a slime supposed to be the gimmick?
No, but you see, it doesn't
Oh, it
use
gets-
its gimmick, and that's why it's genius.
Now, I do like slime, but the fucking end of it is horrible in my humble opinion. I'm not gonna spoil it, but the gimmicks, whoo, they get way weirder.
All right.
I'm gonna.
welcome.
I can't wait.
It won't be in the anime, but
Yeah, well, not so far.
if you read it, oh my god, it goes from like 0 to 100 in a single chapter,
Oh god.
and I was just sitting there going, was this just a meme? Am I insane? Is this actually how this is supposed to be translated?
Oh man, I can't wait. Yeah,
It
you're
was-
you're hyping this shit up.
Oh
now.
my god.
Fucking
It was all good until then, and I was like, what am I reading? What?
Is this the? I didn't watch the last episode of Slime. How much longer till the end?
Okay, well, in terms of episodes, right? Let me check. I have it on my tracker because I watched the last. That's my tracker.
Because
loads.
he's teaching the kids right now. So.
Yeah. We're at episode 21 out of 20. So I assume they're probably gonna end once the kid arc ends. I guess I would assume the last 4 episodes are gonna be on these kids, and then we're gonna end, and then we're gonna move on to. We're either gonna have like teasers for the next like core, or they're gonna try and do like just sort of a normal. Hey, we might make more, but well, I think it's probably popular enough that it might get more, just because
Oh.
it's
It's a huge one in the light novel community, so I'd assume
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
reckon it's got the pull to get more episodes. So, but yeah, I'm not sure how far from the end we are if we're at this
There's
point.
257 chapters in the web novel.
And we
Let
are
me
now
see.
at.
Hell if I know. I'll try to figure out, because we've been assuming that it's gonna end around when he becomes a demon lord, so I'll try to figure that one out.
Right. So we'll see.
It's
we'll
not
see.
very far in. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Oh yeah.
Well, I
it's-
assume it's been going on for quite a while. So. Or
Yeah.
at least it was, because you've hinted that it does actually have a fucking end, which is good.
Yeah.
Because that's, it's not going to be Narutoing this shit and going on for fucking 50 billion fucking years, and then getting rebooted with Naruto's son, and continuing even after it ended. So
Yeah,
you
no.
know,
That's not gonna happen with this.
yeah,
No.
well, it's
Unless
actually-
something goes horribly wrong, and then you never
Yeah.
know.
well, I mean, I know it's off topic, and we've got like 2 minutes left, but I actually find something somewhat good about the fact that it has a definitive end. Like there is actually a point in which it stops, rather than just being this thing that I have to keep fucking following until I die. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
you
like,
could at least
goddamn.
read the manga or the web novels at least.
Yeah. All right, we're at 2 minutes, so let's top her off. Let's see what Gigguk has to say as his closing statements.
Literally just re-zeroed itself. Last year, when I made that video on isekai, I ended it with a point that slime has proven true this season. Whilst most shows in the genre have fallen flat and haven't appealed to me in any way, I did say that if something came along that offered a fresh experience I'd enjoy, then I would welcome it with open arms, and slime has done just that. It's shot up to be my favorite isekai I've seen in years, and one that fundamentally adheres to the tropes you'd expect from the genre. So apparently I'm not done with the isekai genre just yet, and I'll be waiting for whatever weird fucking concept the genre comes up with next. But surely it has to slow down sometime, right? I mean, at this point we might as well start a new religion, isekaiism, where if you die, you don't go to heaven or hell, you just get reincarnated as an isekai protagonist. Unless you already believe in reincarnation, which would mean... oh, fuck. Are we in a fucking isekai right now?
All the Buddhists are isekai.
Yeah.
Hey guys, hope you enjoyed that video.
All right, we're going into advertisements now.
Looks
So,
like Milim has a nipple slip there.
no, I've seen the official. It's not.
No, I mean,
No.
perception is reality, yeah? So,
Just keep it blurred and we'll imagine it that way.
Perception is reality. Yep. Okay, so I guess final thoughts on Gigguk's video. It's a Gigguk video. It's exactly what I expected. I expected it to be a shitload of comedy, a shitload of opinionated statements, a shitload of, I liked this.
Why are these people always British or some form of Commonwealth?
I don't fucking know. I'm gonna go take the Washington, so I'm closing statements out before I go and do that.
Yeah.
I'll leave.
So-
I'll leave the mic. I'll leave the mic on. I'll sit off and go.
ooh, be careful.
it. Yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. I reckon it was an alright video from a Gigguk standpoint. It's just that it didn't really prove anything to me, and it didn't really confirm or deny anything I didn't really know about slime. Pretty much.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's a fine video, and he's just saying that you like this part and that part, and how things are happening in that way. It's fine and all. There's no critical thoughts being done, and it's fine. So if you don't examine why you like something or how it's done elsewhere.
Yeah, I don't have any issues with an opinionated video like this. I think it's fine as long as people don't try and take his opinions as fact, which is a problem.
Yeah.
If people are going, oh well, it's the best kind of isekai, even though there's better isekais out there, like I get clickbait title, but people sometimes there are you got to assume there's always going to be at least one fuckwit. Right? There's always going to be
The definitive opinion on isekai.
The Gigguk, the true anime saint.
Yes.
Fucking. All right. Well, while you guys do your thoughts and fucking get set up for the next video or whatever, I'm gonna be back in I don't know, a few minutes.
Yeah, same for me. I have to go also for a few minutes. So discuss your own points, and I'll be right back.
Oh man, don't just leave the mic on me. Well, I'll take this time to make the definitive statement that the world that we're done buying is in fact the only isekai. All others are shit. That's the objective.
Those are
opinion.
fighting words, boy. I don't know. I'm just gonna say it ain't gonna age well, and we are definitely not the audience.
Oh yeah, we absolutely aren't. You can always tell what the audience is of a video or whatever just by how the humor is, and if I were to see a strike zone for this, I would say anywhere between 15 to 20-ish. Which is pretty accurate. I know, a person who follows this guy, and he's 21. So I think he's kind of getting tired of that community as it.
Anime normies.
Yeah.
That's the community. There you go. Fuck, who's the dude that does not he covers games and he always sits on his yoga ball. Fuck, he does really good just entirely opinionated videos.
I couldn't tell you who, or I couldn't say that.
Yeah.
Watch anybody. People I watch for video games, I watch Ahoy because he makes a video once in a year, and when it comes out, it's amazing. His one on the Amiga was really good. See, Seth, Mandalore is pretty good. We're not even talking about anime at this point. We're talking about.
No, but Nikki Jakey. That's here's the channel. He's an example of someone that I'd say does really good, just entirely opinion videos, and he doesn't pretend they're any more than that.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm back. Did you give your opinions on the video?
And more.
Yeah, for the most part.
Alright, then I'm going to stop the recording and I'll find the place where you kind of stop talking about this video later.